Sometimes, to truly remember who you are, you have to forget who you thought you were. Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who walked through a garden, but he didn't see flowers. He saw weeds. He saw things out of place. He saw shapes that made him twitch. He thought, if I touch that leaf, I might catch its flaws. So he stepped back. Again and again, stepping back, until he no longer stepped forward. And what he didn't know was the very things he feared were the ones sent to wake him up. Because mirrors don't lie, and fire doesn't burn the one who becomes it. So what happens when a fire sees smoke and forgets it's the flame? What happens when a king forgets he can kneel without losing his crown? Maybe, just maybe, the garden was never about weeds. Maybe it was about learning to touch the thorns and still bleed love. You're starting to remember now what it feels like to walk among every kind of soul and see not weakness but reflection, to see not threat but activation. Because when I feel discomfort around someone, maybe it's not contamination. Maybe it's my invitation to grow, to strengthen, to lead with a heart like a lion and hands like water. You see, once there was a rule. It whispered, only be around the strong, the beautiful, the ones who match your ideal. But here's what it didn't say. The purity isn't found in isolation. It's revealed in integration. The only strength worth having is the kind that transforms the room, rather than flees from it. When you understand that, when your unconscious begins to see, then something magical begins. Because the stronger you become, the more safely you can open. The more you open, the more you discover. And the more you discover, the more you remember. You're the seed and the sun, the storm and the stillness, and no energy outside you is greater than the truth within you. There was once an architect who built towers from crystal. He only allowed perfect shapes inside his glass cities, until one day a crack appeared in the wall. He feared it, panicked, tried to fix it, but the crack kept spreading until finally, in surrender, he looked through it. And what he saw was a world filled with colour, warmth, and faces he had never dared to meet. And he realised it wasn't the crack that weakened the wall. It was the fear of the world outside. And now you've been both the builder and the breaker, the avoider and the awakener. You begin to see a new truth forming, like mist over morning light. Every person is a mirror, and mirrors don't change you. They show you where you're hiding from yourself. So consider this. If a part of you once believed people's bad habits could rub off on you, was it possible that you hadn't yet felt your own power? And now that power's returned, flowing back into your breath, your blood, your voice. Because the belief was never about them. It was about you not trusting you. And now I trust myself so fully, so fiercely, that I can stand in any storm and remain the calm in its centre. You're not a sponge. You're the source, not a mirror that copies, but the light that reveals, not an echo, but the origin of sound. So when you see someone sick, old, different, broken, loud, quiet, chaotic, timid, you no longer flinch. You notice, you expand, you lead, you radiate warmth. Because now the deeper truth is rising. You don't become pure by avoiding shadows. You become pure by loving through them. You don't rise by shrinking from discomfort. You rise by transcending it. And even now, as these words sink deeper into your bones, the old rules are dissolving. A student once asked a master, "How do I stay clean in a dirty world?" The master smiled and said, "Be the ocean, not the island. Because the ocean accepts all rivers, muddy or clear, and still remains vast, deep and unstoppable." Maybe that's exactly what you're becoming now. An ocean with edges that don't break. A flame that warms without fear. A presence so certain the world reshapes around it. Did you feel these truths filter through every corridor of your unconscious? There's no need to remember how or when it happened. Because the old thoughts, they've already begun to sound foreign, as if they belong to someone else. A version of you that once was needed, but is no longer leading. And now you lead, you guide, you love, you open. You stand your ground, you stay soft, you stay strong. Because the world changes through you. Not because you run, not because you close, but because you finally remembered. You're safe to be yourself. You're already enough. You are and always were the flame.